just wanted to show you my comment section on YouTube. In the dashboard, you have Creator Studio, Community. So this is what it looks like in case you don't post videos and you don't get comments. But this is what I got for the last 24 hours. Let's see, where did it go to? It was 1 day ago. So this is one of my channels, and this is a relatively slow day. So you can imagine I can't do this for everybody, and I certainly don't. I might only do this a few times a year. But in any case, here's one unique situation. John X wrote just a few minutes ago on my video. Over here you see American U.S. Constitution, where I talked about the government. So he listened to the whole video, and eventually I talked about Jesus at the end of it. So he was wondering, and he had good questions. Now I'm just going to go point by point. It's probably just simple, the most simple. Lately you've been mentioning Jesus so much, okay? So he heard it in numerous other videos before the American Constitution video last night. And he says, who is Jesus? Why throughout history there are so many others with figures with same attributes as Jesus? Born of a virgin, son of God, healer, etc. Why is Jesus so important for you and not the others? Alright, so this is the first paragraph. Let's analyze the question, and then I can give you my answer, my response, and you can further analyze that. Everything is subject to analysis, so we can understand. So throughout history, there are figures, and they seem to be similar, like heroes with supernatural attributes, with savior qualities, and as Jews would say, Moshiach, but transliterated, that's Messiah. And these attributes, okay, so I would have liked you to mention who these figures are. So, I mean, I could fill in the blanks. I mean, like Alexander the Great, who is a military ruler over ancient Greece at that time, in the later Greek period. So, I don't know. I would like you to mention these figures. Now, let's just take the attributes that you did list. You said here, born of a virgin. Okay, so that does come directly from the story in the Gospel, and those are the English words that are used in the translation. I think it even comes from one of the earliest ones, the King James Bible, and it talks about this. Now, there are several interpretations when we analyze that. Virgin could be connected with the zodiac sign of Virgo, which is the virgin. Virgo is another word for virgin. And then we've got to delve into the definition of virgin. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean that his biological mother never had sex before. You know, this is like a huge statement, especially to atheists or anti-Christians who, you know, they haven't put on their thinking cap. They're just using a knee-jerk reaction. Oh, this is what it means. Oh, because it means that, I don't believe it. Or it doesn't make any sense because it means that. Well, first of all, they don't make any sense for talking about it that way. It doesn't necessarily mean that. However, I am not 100% saying or proving or believing that the reference to virgin is just about the zodiac sign of Virgo. What's interesting to note, so what I'm trying to say is that the opposite sign of Virgo in the zodiac is Pisces. And if they're saying that Jesus was born from that and he's opposite of it to Pisces, it sort of makes sense but doesn't make total sense. He is the representative of the beginning of the age of Pisces, and the reason why they call it the age of Pisces is because of precession, solar system precession. That means every time you check during the spring equinox or the vernal equinox, it shifts, and it's telling you that what is the zodiac sign behind the sun at that time is the sign of Pisces. So it's the same thing as them saying the center of the galaxy is right now in like 25, almost 26 degrees Sagittarius. Basically, because of the rotation motions, there's 2 or 3 different motions that you can calculate in these models of based on observation. You can basically reverse engineer. But this is I'm not going to do a astronomical expounding here because it's really futile without the graphics. But just to conclude on the idea of born of a virgin, it's probably a reference to something of the zodiac. And the other reason that you know that is because in the same story, you took it out of context. And that is an out of context phrase, born of a virgin. So within the actual story of the gospel, it's told that there are 3 wise men that are from the east. And the only way you can understand that is that the so-called Eastern religions, of the Hindus, the Vedas, Vedic science, somehow these people to the east of the Middle East, so it's the areas through Persia and India, they had astrological knowledge. So if it says that the 3 wise men knew about the birth, they were looking at the relations and the portents that are shown in the stars. By the position of the stars, it shows the timing of something that has to happen. So this is by using astronomy to predict something of human events. So you can't separate born of a virgin from that. And you can't even separate the whole nativity, the nativity idea of how Jesus was born from that. Now, going back to what you're saying, through history there's so many with similar attributes and similar. That's not true. That's not true. There is nobody else with that exact same storyline as to their origins. However, there are similarities, and we have to look at it in detail side by side, and you're not giving information for that, so So until we have that, till we do like an exhaustive comparison, I'm just going to say that you'll find that there are similarities, which are nice, because the only conclusion that I would make is throughout history, there are people who come to inspire the rest of humanity, like every few hundred years or every few thousand years. And these people have something in common. There is a belief system or a tradition which calls them avatars. So if you look at what you're saying here, you could have easily have mentioned avatars and said, why is Jesus one of the avatars? So that whole principle, that whole prophecy is saying that an avatar must come to the people of the world to help them. He's like exemplary. I need whispering now. And I already asked for that. Like for a few minutes a day. And then I go back to you and I teach you like directly and talk to you and everything. So you have to stop. You have to show respect. Or you'll never get any in life. It just stands to reason. Why don't we jump down here to you say this question. Do you talk to your children about Jesus? What do they think? What do they ask? That's a whole huge topic. Yeah, we do talk about it, and they ask some pretty good questions. In fact, their questions are a lot like yours. They're valid questions. They should be responded to with respect, with due consideration. However, I have a responsibility to let them know what's my cosmology, what is my state of mind, what is my belief system, what is my purpose in life. I'm responsible for that because I'm the parent of the children. However, in all fairness, I tell them that they're going to be able to think whatever they want to think when they're able to make their own conclusion. So right now, I mean, they have wisdom which is inborn, which is innate, which is inalienable. They have this kind of wisdom and this thinking. And they have curiosity, which I allow, and which I acknowledge. So that's about that. But if you use the word in here, Son of God, what does that mean? These figures have that, and he has that. Basically, it means son. He descends. He comes from God. And what is God? God must be something beyond us, higher and better and more powerful, and doesn't have the weaknesses that we have. But that's our source. We are all coming from that. Like, we are children of God. So he's Son of God. He's just the exemplary Son of God. He is the best one. You know, so it shows that a lot of people who are against Jesus are merely showing how weak and injured their egos are. Because they just can't stand to think of a person who's better than they could possibly be, or better than their own heroes. They don't want to hear about that. So then you said he was a healer. Well, okay, so I don't know who you're referring to. Who else in history was a healer? Okay. Yeah, I mean, Jesus was a healer. You could be a healer. Lots of people could be a healer. Healers are people that go out and adjust the energy field of other people who are imbalanced. And they're suffering. They have conditions. So, I guess 15 minutes wasn't enough for me. I'll have to do part 2.